Well, hello, welcome to my channel. I'm AmandaMuse. I'm a mom of two, and one of them is a preteen, a tween, if you will. She's 10. There's a whole lot going on. And actually, there's a whole lot going on in how parenting shifts as you enter this new phase of life, truly. And I've been sharing all sorts of parenting things since they were little itty bitty squishy cherubs of humans. And now, of course, with some boundaries in place as to what's appropriate and what my children think is okay for me to share, I've been gifted approval and actually some insight into what makes my kid feel happy with how I interact with her and what makes me happy. You know, it's like this marriage of the two. So it's a relationship, right? I'm not into the whole big, scary, like, you must obey type of parenting. That's just not who I am at my core, honestly. And so what I have today is 5 things that I've been doing with my kids lately that I have seen improving my relationship towards them towards me, and just like our overall sense of doing life. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna mention is, something that kind of goes truly with who I am as a person, but it's all about expression. And in one way is through our outward appearance. So I have a daughter who's 10, and I've noticed in the past couple of years, she's wanted to change the color of her hair. She's wanted to do like press on nails, or, most recently she wanted to try acrylic nails, like, the actual traditional style of nails. And honestly, I'm at a point where I just let her do her within reason. There's obviously that element of like, yes, I'm still the parent and I'm helping guide her through life, but I do love that she has autonomy over her body and how she presents. And I love that for her. I love that for people in general. I don't want to be that person who stifles someone's self-expression. And I would never want that for me. And I want my kids to feel like they can be who they want to be whenever they want to be it, right? Now, of course, I'm going to bring in some tech, because naturally, as our kids grow, they are going to be exposed to all sorts of tech items. And I don't know about you, but I'm on my phone quite a bit, as are most of the people I meet on this planet. So it would come naturally that at some point my kid is going to ask me for a phone. Now, in some of our homes, we may have extra phones lying around. This is obviously a very privileged life that we lead. But if you were looking to, get your child a phone and you're not really sure where to start, I'm going to share with you something that we did with my daughter when she turned 10. So today I'm going to do a quick unboxing, share with you some of the features that I really like about it, especially as a parent. And of course, if you are, an Apple user, a lot of this stuff is going to be pretty straightforward. And if you're an Android user, I love Android phones too. The cameras are incredible, but I just find the compatibility with my computer, with the fact that I am an Apple user myself, it's just so easy to keep the family unit all in one place. So let's get to the phone. So on my phone, I set up family sharing, which allows you to have 5 additional members all connected in the same place. So accessing things like Apple TV, Apple Music, Apple Arcade, like whatever it is. And you have control as the parent phone over, how long your kids are on their phone for. You can set up timelines, you can set up when their phone turns off, and you have access to all the things that they have access to, basically. Plus, we share an iCloud account, so all of the storage of our photos and everything, it's all within my one plan, which is helpful because I'm not buying everybody their own individual plan. Now that said, their own phone and their device, their files, their photos, all of that, it's all private. I just know how much storage I have left. So it's like each device will be able to tap in to the available storage remaining for your iCloud. And then of course, it goes without saying that so much of what we talk about as parents is screen time, how much screen time is acceptable. And you, as the parent holder of the account, can nominate another adult to be, also tapped into what these kids are up to when they're on their devices, and it will allow you to see how much time they're spending on their screens and set in those time frames about what you deem appropriate. Why the iPhone SE? Well, for us, it is the most affordable iPhone in the group of iPhones. The nice thing is if you're already an Apple user, it just slides right into your whole ecosystem of Apple. It's so easy to set up family sharing. And the camera itself is actually really good. And so if your kid is getting into maybe making their own videos or taking pictures of things they like, you know, it has the 4K video, portrait mode. It's great for everyday use, 12 megapixels. You can't go wrong. This next one actually goes hand in hand with a device, so it's an app I'm about to recommend. So if you have a phone or an iPad, it also works. It's actually through RBC, it's called Mido. I'm going to be linking whatever I talk about below, so you will see some links below. And what I love about this app is that it provides your kid with basically a prepaid Visa. Now, before you get ahead of yourself, you're like, Amanda, we're talking phones and prepaid visas. Like, I know money doesn't grow on trees. But here's the cool thing with this particular type of app is you can set it up with chores that your kids do around the house. You know, you set up your home that way that makes sense for you. In our home, my kids do have some things they have to do around the house, and I don't mind giving them an allowance to do so. This is all very new to us, so it's like new ground, new territory for us as a family. It's sort of changing the way that they ask for things. You know, instead of just, hey mom, can I get this video game? Or can you buy me this whatever, this new makeup product, or you know, this new sweatshirt, or things that they don't necessarily need but want. It's allowing them to work for their money. If they want to earn extra money, they can ask me, and I have access to it as the parent. And it's all like through e-transfers, right? So I put money into this to the main parent Mido account and can easily transfer cash into their accounts. And then they have a little card. So when they're out at the mall or at the store or whatever, they can tap and use their card, their Mido card, to make purchases on their own. And within the app itself, there's a lot of little, I don't want to say like courses because it's not a course, but it's kid-centric tools where they can learn about money and learn about finances, and also just like the overarching theme of how do you manage your money appropriately. Like if you have a $15 item you want to buy and you only have 10 bucks in your account, that ain't gonna work, you know, and really helping them create this foundation for discussion around money, which I feel is very important. You know, I know in the school system we're talking about money and finances more and more, but it's this real-time learning that's really important. And, you know, differentiating between money you want to save versus money that you can spend on fun things, and how long will it take you to save up money to buy that video game that you want. So anyway, it's a really interesting app. I have to admit, I was sucked in by their marketing. I saw some really great ads on YouTube, here on YouTube, and I downloaded it, and I'm not even a bank member with RBC, and it's that good that I had to sign up for the kids. There is a little monthly fee, so that's worth considering, but I find it just very easy for me. I just think it's a really great app worth looking into. My next tip in parenting a tween is connection. You know, I recently had a girls' night and we were talking amongst ourselves about our kids just for a short time, as we do as parents, and we were talking about how as our children get older, how we connect with them just looks so different. And sometimes we can be met with resistance. I'm using that word sometimes generously, because I'd say a lot of kids, you know, they start to go through this process where they're untangling themselves from you as the parent, which can be very painful. And I'm just gonna throw it out there that sometimes our feelings can get hurt. And it's so easy to get lost in the pain that comes from that. And to give you an example, like a specific example, I just started noticing as my daughter was 9, of course, going through 2 years in and amongst, you know, the time that we've been through. I'm trying not to use the big P word and the C word, but you know, we've been in a strange time. So I think that's obviously exasperated some things. But I just noticed my daughter was kind of leaning away from me and not wanting to connect with me. And I had a bit of a tricky relationship with my own mom growing up. We're really good now, but that took some work. And I'm like, how do I prevent history from repeating itself? Like, maybe I could do something different. And what I just started to do, honestly, was like lean in and talk less. And also show up with like physical affection, because I noticed like it's so easy to scoop up my 8-year-old and snuggle and cuddle. But your 10-year-old was like, I don't think so, mom. You know, the initial reaction's usually like hands off the merchandise kind of thing. I find that in a, very conventional family dynamic where you have like the mom and the dad, dads tend to be more physical and more like roughhouse, and moms often don't take that same role. And I'm just like flipping it on its side, basically, and just doing what feels right. Being willing to not know what to do is a big one. This was a heavy tip. This one was a big one because I just feel like it's a lot. I want to give you tangible things you can walk away with, but then there's also this part of parenting where you kind of feel like you're not really sure what you're doing. And this is what friends do, right? We share what works. And my last one, tip number 5, is really like finding ways to connect with yourself. So as I talk about this element of untangling, you are like, just so interwoven. I mean, they're physically a part of you, and there's so much of yourself that you've given, whether it's, just your time, you've literally nourished them with your body, you grew them, whatever it is, like there's so much of yourself that you've given, and now they just need a little less, right? And there's part of us that can feel sad, as I was mentioning in that last part, like our feelings can get hurt, like I gave you so much and you're gonna be rude to me and you don't need me anymore, and it can hurt, right? But I wanna challenge you to question, where does that hurt come from? Is it maybe, just maybe, you haven't really devoted enough time to yourself in the last few years, that you've forgotten what makes you tick and you've forgotten what brings you joy, and maybe you're not spending enough time on yourself? And I asked my daughter this. I said, does it bother you that I go out sometimes with my friends, or that I go out on my own and like walk the dogs by myself or work out and like am not spending so much time with you? And she was like, no, what do I care? Like to her, it's who I am as a person. And I said to her, well, like, if I was to ask you, like, what I like, what does mom like? Would you be able to answer some things? And she was like, yeah. I feel like I've clearly defined who I am and what I enjoy. And I carve out time, and sometimes it's harder than others to carve out time for yourself, but I make the time to invest back in myself, because I know if I fill my own cup, I'm better off, I'm a better mom, I'm a better version of Amanda, and therefore better for my family. And I love that my daughter is seeing that, because I want her to have that as a role model. So when she grows up and goes out into the world and makes whatever life choices she wants to make to be who she needs to be, she knows in the back of her head that like it's okay to do things just for you, to not be constantly trying to please everybody else, right? Whew, this is a TED Talk today. It's such an interesting time to parent, and there are so many like tools out there for new parents. But what about us parents who are heading into all these different chapters, right? It's maybe not as physically demanding, this type of parenting, but holy smokes, you're using your brain. And there's a whole lot of not talking, thinking, trying to be proactive, trying to be there, but like not so much in their face that they're annoyed with you. It's a different phase, but it's wonderful. And I just want to encourage you not to fear it. If tech is not your thing and you're a little overwhelmed, stick with me. I got your back. I will show you all the cool things. Message me, hit me up in the comments, whatever it is. I'm happy to help. And YouTube is a really great source of like, how do you set up family sharing? I'm sure there's a video to support you on that, Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope there's a tip you could take away. And if you feel like I've missed something really important, please comment below, because I love hearing what you guys have to say. This is such a great community that we have here, and not all of you have kids, and I get it, this video might not have been for you, but it's fun to just kind of see, how we change and evolve through the years in this whole thing of life and parenting. You know what I mean? So thanks for being here, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye!